You have a king. Maybe not Jesus, but maybe something that keeps you moving, something that drives you, something that motivates you. What's your king? We're starting a brand new sermon series. The title of the sermon series is We Have a King. We have a king. This is the season. There's no other perfect season to focus on Jesus. And I know every season is perfect to focus on Jesus, but if there is any season where people from all over the world are doing one thing and focusing on Jesus, it's this season. The answer to every problem in life is this: we have a king. And I want to take you to a story of a man in the Bible who was just like you. He was busy. He was really busy, because some of you are so busy. My God, you're checking the time. I'm so busy. I need to go home. There's so many things that I have to do. I'm busy. He was busy, but he was not just busy on his phone. He was busy with his purpose. He had a purpose. He had a life. And he was rich. Yeah. Ooh, see, now everyone's attentive, certainly. He was rich, and he was powerful, and he was influential. He had everything in life. He was sorted. But then he saw Jesus. He saw Jesus passing, and he dropped everything that he had, climbed a tree, just so he could focus on Jesus. Let me take you to that story. Jesus entered Jericho, and he made his way through the town. Now, this is almost the time when he was going into Jerusalem to be crucified for you. Satan just crucified. For you, he's going to die for you. He entered Jericho, made his way. Some people are like, There was a man there named Zacchaeus. Say Zacchaeus. Two C's, so Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus. It should have a weight on that. He was the chief tax collector. Very important. He was not just a tax collector. He was a chief tax collector. That means he had influence. He was powerful. He was influential. And he had become very rich. So he was powerful, influential, and he was rich. Praise the Lord. And he tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too shy. So he's rich, he's powerful, he's influential, but he's short. Who's laughing? He was too short to see over the crowd, so he ran ahead, climbed a sycamore fig tree. He climbed a tree. That's very important. He climbed a tree. Do you have a tree in your life? He climbed a tree. You cannot do anything without a tree. It is the tree that saved you. He climbed a tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. This is not a very famous story. A very few people, not everyone knows this story. Not everyone knows this name, Zacchaeus. Right? It's not a very famous name. Adi thought I'm talking about her uncle when I said Zacchaeus. Only if you've grown up in church and if you really read the Bible, or if you went to Sunday school, you know this name. Because Sunday school has a Christian quiz, and one of the most common questions in the Christian quiz is, who was the shortest man in the Bible? And the answer is Zacchaeus. Poor guy. He became famous for all the wrong reasons. Right? He made it all the way to the Bible, which is a great thing. The Bible is the most famous book in the world. More people have read the Bible more than any other book, right? But now more people know that Zacchaeus was short. Why do we have to know Zacchaeus was short? Right? But then again, if you did not know Zacchaeus was short, you would not know why he had to climb the tree. If you did not know Zacchaeus was short, you would not know the value and importance of the tree. Now listen to this. If you did not know that you have fallen short, you would not know the value of the cross. Oh, the cross is only for people who have fallen short. And to be honest, TBH. Every one of you that I'm looking at have fallen short. I'm not saying that. The Bible is saying, okay, don't blame me. Show them. Show them. For everyone has sinned. We all fall short of God's glorious standard. Everyone has sinned, and everyone, look around you, everyone has fallen short. Turn to your neighbor and say, you're short. Go ahead, tell them, you're short. Falling short does not mean falling in sin. Ooh. Show them the same side. For everyone has sinned and we all fall short. See, sin and short. So show them NKJV. They'll believe better. Show them the next slide. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. All have sinned and fallen short. Sinned and fallen short. Two different things. To sin and to fall short are two different things. To sin is to do something bad. To fall short is to miss something good. To sin is to break the law of God. To fall short is to miss the glory of God. To fall short is to live your life at a lower standard than God's glorious standard. Question: what is your standard that you're living? What standard of life are you living? When people are looking at your life, do they see God's glory over your life? Ooh. When people are looking at your life, do they see the power of God working in your life? When people look at your life, do they see the favor of God working in your life? Zacchaeus did not go to Jesus because he was short. Zacchaeus went to Jesus because he had fallen short. Oh, you think he climbed the tree because he was short? No, that's literal. But really, he climbed the tree because he had fallen short. Zacchaeus went to Jesus not because he was short in stature. He went to Jesus because he was short in standard. And Zacchaeus went to Jesus not looking for a friend in Jesus. He went to Jesus looking for a king. And this is where the sermon will turn on your face now. Because I named it, we have a king, right? But not Jesus. Zacchaeus had a king. He had a king called Herod. He was under King Herod, right? Herod was the king of in Jerusalem, of Judea, the region of Judea. So he had a king. And if this was sermon series, he would say, yeah, I have a king. His name is Herod, right? But his king was under another king. That fellow was Caesar. Just like that, you have a king. Maybe not Jesus, but maybe something that keeps you moving. Something that drives you. Something that motivates you. What's your king? Maybe your job is your king. Because you never break the circle. I can't come to church. I have a job. Right? Or maybe your business is your king. Maybe your family is your king. Maybe that relationship is your king. Maybe that dream in your heart to be successful in life, that's your king. Maybe money is your king. Oh. Maybe that dream to start your business, that's your king. Maybe that dream to buy a house, that's your king. What's your king? Zacchaeus had a king. His name was Herod. He had another king, Caesar. I think Tiberius Caesar or something. I don't know which time. He had money. That was his king also. He had many kings. And then he saw Jesus. and he embarrassed himself in public. He climbed a tree. He embarrassed himself in public. Rich man climbing a tree. Why? With all the kings that he had in life, he knew Jesus is the King of Kings. But he had to climb a tree to look at Jesus. But let me show you. This is really what I really want to show you. All this sermon is around this, okay? Let me show you what happens when Jesus looks at him. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said, quick, come down. Now this is very strange because most kings will tell you to climb up. Most kings will tell you to climb up to their level. Most kings will tell you to earn their approval. Most kings will tell you to deserve their presence. Most kings will tell you to call out for their attention. Most kings will tell you to call out their name. Jesus called out Zacchaeus' name. We have a king, and my king knows my name. Show them. This is crazy. He called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said. That's how you know his name. That's how you know there was a man called Zacchaeus. Because Jesus called out his name. Jesus told you his name. Luke told you he was short. Luke told you he was a tax collector. Luke told you he was a sinner. Jesus told you he was precious. Jesus told you he was blameless. Jesus told you he was Zacchaeus. You know the meaning of the word Zacchaeus? Blameless one. Sinless one. Pure one. On that tree, Jesus called him blameless. And not just that. Show him the next scripture. This is crazy. He looked up at Zacchaeus. Every king will look down on his people. Jesus looked up at Zacchaeus. No king would raise their gaze on someone higher. Kings always look down. Jesus looked up. Why? Because his focus is on you. I'm preaching about your focus on Jesus, but you don't know his focus is on you. And the next time, and I have my stick now, and the next time you say, I don't feel his presence, remember, he feels your presence. Show them more. This is crazy. This broke me. Zacchaeus said, quick, come down. Every king would make you climb a tree. Jesus told Zacchaeus to climb down from a tree. Why? Why? Because in a few days, Jesus would be climbing up a tree. In a few days, Jesus would be crucified on a tree. In a few days, Jesus would hang on a tree. This tree was made for Zacchaeus because he was short. Just like the cross is made for you because you have fallen short. Cross was not made for Jesus. Jesus was blameless. He was faultless. He was clean. He was pure. That's why Pilate said, I find no fault in him. I cannot accuse him. There's no accusation. He's not sinned once in his life. He's not done anything. I can't make a cross for him. The cross was not made for Jesus. The cross was made for Barabbas. The cross was made for you. And just like Jesus told Zacchaeus, come down from that tree. Just like that, Jesus is telling you today, come down from your struggle. Come down from your suffering. Come down from that sickness, because you're never supposed to be hanging on sickness. You're never supposed to be hanging in poverty. You're never supposed to be hanging in suffering. You're not supposed to be hanging in that place of struggles. Come down quick, 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 right now. Come down. You know why? Because I will climb up that tree for you. We have a king, and he climbs our tree. We have a king, and he dies for me. We have a king, and he makes us come down from all our suffering. We have a king, and he raises our standards. We have a king, and his name is Jesus. Tell the world we have a king.